Hello there. Very welcome everybody tuning in. It may be a very cold December, but a very warm welcome to everybody. So guys, it is the start of the Saturday big weekend at Kano fundraiser. Joined today by Jared and Shane from the Celts Down Under. Guys, how are you?
Pretty good, Paddy. Thanks for having us on. Yourself, Dal, and the rest of the Celtic Supporters podcast team. Appreciate being part of this charity weekend. A great cause. Kano Foundation, love their work. So happy to be part of it.
Great stuff. Shane?
Yeah, a very warm welcome. Definitely a warm welcome. It's been quite humid here, so most certainly a warm welcome from this side of the world. But yeah, just wanted to echo Jared's sentiments. Thanks for having us on board. The Kano Foundation do wonderful work. It's really a privilege to be involved in this. So thank you very much for having us.
No, an absolute pleasure to have you on, guys. And I'm glad you're nice and warm because it's absolutely freezing here. So what I'll do is I'll just give a wee quick introduction. I'll bring in some very, very short things about the Kano, and then I will hand it over to you guys. So there, the banner at the bottom, that will show you all your information there. Big Kano fundraising weekend. Get in touch how to donate. You can send in your usual contributions, donations into the page, and we'll transfer them over to the Kano. You've also got your Just Giving page, which is justgiving.com. So if you go into that, you search for Dale O'Reilly, the letters will be at the bottom. Then they want to put in the full address because it's absolutely massive. And we also have, just at Jared's left there, we have the QR code. So that will take you straight onto the Just Giving page. And for anybody who does not know who the Kano Foundation is, please have a wee jump onto their website, kanofoundation.com. If you don't do that, there's plenty of videos on YouTube. So just very, very briefly, again, if you don't know who they are, they're a voluntary organisation. And what they do is they fundraise voluntarily. All funds go towards taking kids, all ages, all backgrounds, whoever, and they take them to Celtic Park. Tickets free, all free. They provide hot meals and they provide goodie bags and entertainment pre-match as well. And they give the kids just an unbelievable experience, guys. I've seen it with my own eyes, and the work that these guys do is incredible. And you know, some of these kids might never see a football match. Some of them might not even get a hot meal that day. So yeah, it's just that is a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing, and we are more than happy to be part of the wee charity drive that we're doing this weekend. So the goal originally was to raise £1,000. We've smashed that already, and it's not even started today. Started yesterday, obviously, the big weekend, Friday night. So here we are, on to Saturday. So QR code, Just Giving, links at the bottom. You've also got your sponsors there, adalantes.com and Dennis Devlin. Check out some of his stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much all from my side, guys. So what I will do is I am going to leave you to it, and I'll catch your comments.
Cheers.
Thank you very much, mate.
Great setup. Okay.
Enjoy, boys.
Jeez, Paddy set us up better than a corner from Bernardo, basically. There you go.
I know. I'm feeling very welcome and part of this really important cause. But yeah, he's played us in beautifully.
Yeah, it's great to be part of it, as I said just before. And yeah, Kano Foundation, absolute legends, what they're on about and what they do. So we know the club was found. We all got their song. If you know your history, well, this ties in pretty well, in my opinion. So yeah, great cause. If you can, give what you can, and yeah, we'll see what we can do ourselves. So hail to everyone in the comments. James, Christopher, Paul, thanks to everyone for tuning in. So what we're going to do, we're going to go for a bit of a different slant here. So obviously we've got the game coming up against Hibs, right? So we'll start off with that, with once the lineups they've just come out. But what I was going to do, Shane, and I'm keeping my powder dry. Hey, Shane's just dropped out. Lovely. So I was keeping my powder dry with the starting lineup. So the whole plan here.
There they are. The saviour arrives.
There he is. He's back. I have no idea what happened there. Technology on the other side of the world. Bloody hell, Shane, what are you doing?
Well, you said you were keeping your powder dry, and I was trying to take it literally by disappearing, so I couldn't hear anything that you were going to say.
You bastard.
Like, it's in actuality, I hit refresh on the wrong monitor. There you go. I'll be honest.
Moron.
Hey, it's literally 5 to 1 a.m. here. You got to cut me a little bit of slack.
Yeah, I know. We'll get by. So, yeah, what I was trying to do, keep the powder dry, not look at the lineup before it, because I wanted to start off with talking about the game. So we'll take an early guess at what we thought our starting lineup would be. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about was, will we be expecting to see much squad rotation in this match compared to those who started our match against Aberdeen midweek? So, but I know we won't list who we think the starting lineup. I said, hey, Liam's here. No, you're mute, Liam.
Can't hear you. Look at that sweater.
Yeah, load of the sweater, and look at the sunburn. Jeez, Liam lost it. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll just get straight in the starting lineup while Liam figures out his technical difficulties. So I said on our Thursday pod, I had a solo set, Shane. It was just me. It was the most awkward pod. Gotta love it. But I said from starting lineup, I thought it'd be like, I was hoping we'd be rotating some stuff, so we'd have like Schmeichel in goals. I was hoping that Johnson I thought he'd get a rest and he'd start Ralston. So Johnson's in the team. Trusty and Scales, I sort of picked. Taylor, I thought we'd go with Valle. Middle of the park, McGregor, Engels, McCowan. McCowan, I've got to say it because there's one person who hates my accent. Apparently I say McGowan. So it's McCowan. And yeah, then you got up front, Ida with Kun and Maida either side. Bench is Sinisalo, Kyogo, Valle, Yang, Carter Vickers, Bernardo, Hatade, Forrest, Ralston. What a squad. So, Shane, what do you think of the starting lineup?
Yeah, well, look, I was similar to you. I've only just skimmed it before we went on air. And I'd actually said last week that I wouldn't be surprised if we had a few changes for when we went to Pataudry, which we did. But then I also said wouldn't surprise me if the team that we rolled out against Ross County was effectively repeated against Hibs today. And it doesn't look like that's happened exactly, to be honest, with Engels coming in instead of Bernardo and so forth, and obviously Kun. And AJ was there as well. But yeah, it's a pretty strong squad. I think we've all sort of been appreciating the depth that we've got at the moment. That's one thing that in maybe at the start of the season and previous seasons gone by, the depth's something we've looked at and maybe just with a little bit of concern. But now, particularly over the last month or so, we can look at our bench players and know that we can rotate them in pretty comfortably where we need to. So, the luxury to be able to have someone like Engels actually coming in and starting compared to, say, at the previous weekend. Yeah, it's not lost on me, but it's a really strong starting 11 that we're rolling out against Hibs today.
Have you fixed your technical difficulties, Liam?
You tell me. Can you hear me?
There.
Oh, right, I was going to pretend to hear you.
What? No. All right.
What's
first thing first? This is not sunburn. I've got my face has erupted in some kind of rash. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Probably the mere mention of Rangers, I'm getting all flustered, But there you go.
Get Pedro.
Aye. I come to think of it, having Patrick Stewart on my sweater probably wasn't such a good idea, was it? Yeah. Yeah, the starting lineup seems fine with me. I'm quite happy with the way it's going. Yeah, I expect. To be honest, Oh, nice to meet you too, James. Thank you. I expect a comfortable win today, and hopefully, I think whatever team we put on the park, the squad depth now is such that we can deliver that. So, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a interesting one. I just got the Hibs line up here. So Smith, Miller, O'Hora, Yuan, Newell, Eardale, Cadden, Obita, Triantis, Rocky. I can never say this one properly. Kuharovic. There you go. So they've got two Aussies starting. Bit of a bit of an interesting lineup there. I think, the thing with Hibs at the moment, I think they are them and Hearts, two Edinburgh clubs, massively underperforming for what's going on. But they can all just suffer in their jocks for all I care. They're not very well ran clubs, either of them, and you'd think Hibs would be a lot better off than they are. Their form's been pretty patchy lately. Apparently, I heard a good stat somewhere, can't remember where, but we've had as many wins in the last week as they've had all season. So, a bit of a interesting one. So, how do you think we'll go playing against them, Shane? What are your general thoughts heading into the game?
Well, general thoughts are that I would think, and I mean no disrespect, but they haven't been playing well this season. They got a 3-0 result against Motherwell, which took them off the foot of the table. And ironically, they were replaced by Hearts. So I'm sure they enjoyed that win a little bit extra than maybe they would have normally. Look, maybe that could be the turning point for them. I don't know, but I'm expecting a relatively comfortable performance and win today. I think past history against them, particularly at home, is we've been very solid in picking up the wins against them and pretty much controlling the game. And I don't see this going any differently. I'm not too sure how they'll line up against us, and not necessarily in terms of the starting 11, but how they'll approach it. I kind of expect them to do similar to what we see to most teams that come to Celtic Park do, which is to kind of sit in, contain, hit on the counter where they can. They do have a couple of weapons there, like Lewis Miller, for example. I rate him. He's a pretty good player. He's not just because he's Australian and we're tapping into that here, but he is pretty good at getting up and down the park, and he's got a good long throw on him as well, which could be handy for them today if need be. So, look, all in all, expecting a pretty comfortable win, and it'll be interesting to see how they actually go about playing us.
We'll jump onto that question from James now. So, can I ask you, lads? We had him for 2 wonderful seasons, but is Ange Postecoglou seen as the Australian Pep Guardiola? Nah, Pep Guardiola is the Spanish Ange Postecoglou.
I was wondering where you were going with that for a second.
Nah, because Ange's been doing this shit since the 90s, mate. That's all I've got to say.
I completely agree.
Ange teams are better to watch than Pep teams. I think it's a more entertaining brand of football. Win, lose, or draw. I would rather watch an Ange Postecoglou team than a Pep Guardiola team, and I'm not kidding there. I mean that quite sincerely.
Well, you were telling us on our pod, Liam, about the preseason game when Ange was at Yokohama and they were playing against Man City, and the performance level of the two teams, and you've told us that a few times. So for those who don't normally tune into the Celtic Down Under podcast over on our YouTube channel, our podcast channel, we'll get you to, if you want to go into that a little bit, Liam.
Yeah, so for those just seeing me today, I'm based in Japan, and as well as seeing the 2 Celtic games last year, I was able to go and watch Yokohama against Man City back in 2019 when Ange was still the manager. And they lost the game 3-1, but it was definitely an appetizer, if you like, for what was to come at Celtic later on, because they really played some beautiful football, cut Man City open numerous times, and but for some better finishing, could easily been 3 each, or even 4-3, 5-3 to the home team. It was a thoroughly entertaining game, and I'll be honest, at the time I didn't know who Ange was. I just knew it was this Australian guy who'd recently become the Yokohama manager, and I thought, this guy plays this kind of football, he's going to go places. And sure enough, a few months later, the following November, Yokohama won their first title for about 10 years. So there you go.
What we'll do, since we're talking about Ange now, what I'll do is we'll just jump ahead to the current situation he's found himself in at Tottenham, and then we can come back to the Hibs game a little bit more. So we'll just bounce around a little bit here because, why not? It's early hours for all of us. We're probably all a little bit delusional and, weary and all this sort of stuff. So, just the current situation, and just find himself in at Tottenham. I always thought it was a bit of an odd fit for him. Like, gotta love that comment. So yeah, just with the whole situation, Tottenham, when you got guys like Conte have come in, Mourinho's come in, doesn't matter who goes into that place, it's a basket case of a club. So yeah, I just think Ange is great. We know what he's about, but yeah, everyone else, I'm sure everyone's got their opinion, but the Tottenham fans, they're deluded. They think they deserve better than they are. But I hope Tottenham come up the road next week and absolutely pants the Huns in their game. That'll be a nice one for Ange just to return up where there's a bit less pressure up the road and everything. So what's your thoughts on that situation, Shane?
Well, I was, after the dust had settled and we'd kind of got over the fact that he was leaving, I was quite bullish about the fact that he'd ended up at Tottenham. And maybe that was a little bit of naive considering their past history and their sort of inherent nature of just things aren't working, not staying the course, making changes. But I thought if there was one guy that could make this change happen for Spurs, it would be Ange. He's done remarkable things throughout his career everywhere he's gone, and he's managed in some very difficult circumstances. And each time he's always tried to play his football, and he's made it work. And there've been times where it hasn't clicked immediately. Yokohama, for example, and in Ange's first season, they teetered on relegation for quite a while. Next season, they win their first title in a long time. We obviously saw in the early part of his time at Celtic, there were results that swung quite a bit. We'd have a 6-0 one week and then go and lose 1-0 to Livy. But we got over that hurdle, and maybe it's taking a little bit more time at Spurs than what it needs to. But I've got no doubt that if they stay the course with him, he'll absolutely change this pattern, and they will be successful. It's just about them buying in, really. But it's a little bit of a tough situation because the Premier League seems like it's a tough environment where you can't have those varying results, and we saw that. I don't think losing to Bournemouth 1-0 is the worst result. They've taken a couple of scalps this season. I definitely think he can turn it around. The challenge is on Spurs to stay the course. But if one man can make that change happen, he can.
Liam?
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous that a guy who has, very recently beat Man City and beat them well, that there's even a question about the security of his job. It's stupid. It really is. And it just speaks to the entitlement of Spurs are a mid-level English team. That's the reality of it, right? They can claim to be as big as Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, whatever. Historically, they aren't, right? Cash and publicity has inflated the egos of a lot of teams in England, and I think Spurs are one of the biggest victims of that. Believe in their own hype, if you like, because I really don't see where they're getting this idea that they should be competing for the title from, because they haven't done for as long as I can remember. They are a team who win a cup occasionally, and that's about it. And really, for their fans to expect any more than that has been unrealistic.
So while you guys were talking, I was just having a bit of a dive into something on the Wikipedia, right? What the fuck are these Tottenham fans on about? The last trophy that they won was the League Cup. So not even the proper cup, their third tier trophy in 2007-2008 season. That was their last actual trophy, right? In the same amount of time, Ange has won two A-League titles, an Asian Cup, he's won the J-League, and he's won everything that he won in Scotland. So five out of 6 trophies. So,
it's funny because in 2014, I won the Teachers 10-pin bowling championship in Osaka. So I have won more trophies the last decade than Spurs have. That's on record. That's official.
yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. So what we'll do is, I think we just got to we'll get back into it. But people are gonna get a bit narky in the comments and everything. You know, good on you. I don't care.
Bring
So,
it on. The more aggressive, the better. Bring it on.
yeah. So it's one of those things. Like, I don't really care much for Tottenham, but I think Ange deserves better. But he left us. He moved on. Brendan's back, and everything's up and about. So let's just get back to the game that we're here for. So, yeah, we got Liam. What do you think is going to be the key area of focus for us to win the game today?
I think it's just going to be a question of how many can we score. Honestly, Hibs look like a team that are struggling right now, and coming to Celtic Park, and the fans are going to be totally fired up. Just seeing that comment there. And yeah, I think it's the forwards. It's how many goals can we score? Can we make a dent? Can we extend further our goal difference advantage? It's not that I think it's ultimately going to matter when the league is decided, but I really think that's today's a good chance to make a statement, because I think, in all honesty, Rangers are probably going to win their game fairly easily as well. So if we can just go out and score more goals than they do, I think that would just be a nice wee reminder for them of who's in charge.
And Shane, what player are you expecting to have the biggest impact on Celtic picking up the points today?
Well, to be honest, I'm just curious to see if he can repeat his form from last weekend, and that's Luke McCowan. And he was simply outstanding against County. Like, I waxed lyrical about him all week, but I can't remember such a complete performance like that for a little while. He was central to everything that we were creating. He was central to almost all of the goals, well, pretty much all of the goals we scored. But even then, in the second half, the chances that we didn't score from, he was either the guy playing Eder in to get the shot away or whatnot. And he obviously, we sort of mooted that he probably wouldn't maybe start at Patodri with Brendan likes to chop and change a few things, keeps people guessing. But he comes back in today, and I'm curious to see how he picks up from where he left off, because I'm keen to see him sort of get into that rhythm of, okay, now I've got my opportunity again. I'm going to do what I did last time. And it'll be interesting to see if Hibs actually put some time into him, because Ross County didn't really have any awareness of him when he was making those runs into the box or anything like that. He was able to do as he pleased. It'll be interesting to see if Hibs actually look at that midfield, and particularly Luke, and say, well, he's going to be an important factor here. We might have to mark him a little bit more tightly than we normally would. So, yeah, I'm actually focusing on Luke McCowan and seeing how he goes today. And I think he'll be pretty crucial to what we get out of the match.
What you're saying, Shane, is exactly what I'm thinking. I want to see what McCowan does, but I also want to see the link-up play. I want to see how well he puts those corners on a plate for the big ginger Baresi himself in Liam Scales. Because the link-up between those two are unreal. The pressing we'll have on our wingers will be great as well. From our wingers as well. If we've got Mader and Kun on, we've got Taylor there, we're going to be inverting and overloading the midfield. So the press is going to be on. This could get really ugly for Hibs if we convert. But the key thing that I want to see in the midfield is I don't want to see Callum McGregor sitting there in the 6 today. I like Cal when he has that freedom to go play in an 8 and play box to box. So if you've got McCowan playing as an 8, you've got McGregor playing as an 8, and then you've got Engels playing his natural position as a 6. Let's see how this goes. There's no harm in it. We're going to win the game, so there's no harm in it. So, Liam, what are you thinking? I'm
thinking that it's a big day for Engels. He needs to have a performance today. I'm a wee bit, I'm not one of these people who are like, he needs to. Oh, well, thank you.
Working beautifully.
Yes. How's that for synchronization across about 9 time zones? No, the thing is, I think this is a good chance for him today to get, maybe get a goal or two, an assist or two, and just kind of build his confidence a wee bit. Because with a player like that, of his age and the fee, whatever, which again, as I've said on our show multiple times, the fee is something he had no control over, and that has created unfair pressure on him, I think. But no, if he can just get a goal today, maybe get his confidence up a wee bit, that would be good for him today. And it also gives the manager something to think about looking ahead to the 2 bigger games that are coming up.
Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll talk on that. So I was actually thinking that today's game would be the one where we'd see the most rotation, because if you look at our upcoming matches, we've got 3 games in the next week, right? You got Hibs, you've got Zagreb away in the Champions League, and then you've got the Huns on the weekend in the cup final. So how are you going to rotate things? So I would have thought, like I said on Thursday, wouldn't have surprised me if Maeda got a game off today. Wouldn't have surprised me if Kyogo got the game off and Ida starts. So we've got that. So I actually wanted to see Engels in the 6. I wanted Kalmack to have the game off. And then I was like, trust in Scales and give CCV. Take those 3 out. Give them a rest. Have them on the bench if you need them. But yeah, it's good to such a squad game as we've been talking about for years on the pod, on the Select Down Under pod, and it's just great to see what's going on basically. So score predictions, boys. I'll go first if you want, Shane.
Yeah, go on. I took a big breath and then
I think you were unsure. You didn't want to go out on a branch there, but for me, this is one of those games when going into it, and it's going to be a matter of what we do more than what they do, in my opinion. We take our chances, we absolutely slaughter them. If we're wasteful, we win 2-0. So I'm going to go a comfortable, either 4-0 or 5-0.
Yeah, I'm thinking 4-0. I'm thinking we keep a clean sheet and pretty comfortable, and I think we'll take our chances. I think they'll probably be a little bit or have a little bit more resistance than Ross County did this time last weekend. So I think we'll probably get to 4-0 in the end. Eat a brace and a goal to Kuhn and McCowan.
Heavy Vibes has got it figured out. There you go, 6-0 or 3-1. Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be one extreme or the other. I didn't give my goal scorers, so if we go 5-0, then Scales will score, McCowan will score, Engels is going to score absolute howitzer from the car park, and then we'll have a Maeda goal, and Kun will just do it for laughs as well later on. There you go. Liam, what's yours?
I'm going to stick my neck out. I'm going to go 7. I think we'll get 7-0 today. I think we looked really. We could have done that last week, but for shots hitting the bar, hitting the post, great saves by the goalkeeper, whatever. And I think the team we're playing today are worse than the team we played last week. So, I think 7-0. And I think that Ida will get a hat trick. Engels will get 2, and Kuhn and McCowan.
Cool. Happy days. So what we're going to do is I'm going to throw to you boys for we're going to have a bit of a chuckle here, a bit of muck around. So on our podcast, we do some hot takes, right? So we just pick random hot takes. So usually what we do is it can be anything. One has to be Celtic related, one has to be SPFL related or Scottish football related. One can be about anything. Like one time I said that salt and vinegar chips are the best chips ever, right? And I said I'll fight anyone that disagrees. So normally we would do that sort of thing. So what I want to do for the game is I want to do a couple of predictions and then a silly hot take at the end of it for the game instead of doing our usual thing. So predictions. Shane, who will be the first player booked today?
Lewis Miller, easily. He's got that Australian erraticness in him. He's going to go flying into a challenge. I don't know. Maeda's going to get in behind him. He's going to stick his leg out and bring him down. He'll be on a yellow very early. Lewis Miller, easily.
Liam, who are you thinking?
I'm gonna say Ida for arguing when he gets a clear penalty that he should get and doesn't get the penalty. He'll be booked for dissent because he maybe he's only been at Celtic a few months, so he hasn't quite realised that referees just do not do what they're told here. So
I'm going to go on a similar path here to you, Shane. Nectar Trianus, another Australian defensive midfielder. Someone comes through there, he'll just clatter him.
McCowan.
Yeah.
McCowan's going to be in on goal.
It's another one, bit of a prediction. Which substitute will make the best impact for Celtic today? Now, do you want me to go through who's on the bench again? We've got Kyogo, Valle, Sinosalo, Yang, Carter Vickers, Bernardo, Hatate, Forrest, Ralston.
Oh, I'm expecting the starting 11 to pretty much have control of this game. But if I had to put my neck out, I'd probably say Yang. Yang will come on and provide an assist. I obviously didn't put him down as a scorer, so I can't go back on that now, but he'll provide an assist or something in the second half. So Yang for me.
Shane's the head cheerleader of the Yang Gang on this podcast.
That's Yang Gang, by the way.
Yeah, we should seriously make some t-shirts.
isn't that a city near Pyongyang? I think there's something else. Right. I was actually going to say Yang, but in that case, I'll go for James Forrest, just because he always makes an impact when he comes on. So would not be surprised if he came on and again got a goal or set something up.
Well, I was actually going to say James Forrest, but now that, you know...
There's a domino effect here.
That's it. I'm going Sinosalo, honestly. We'll see him make a debut at some point. Like Casper's, we'll get according to, was it you, Liam, who said we'll be up 7-0. So then Sinosalo will come on, and then he'll do the old school Higuita scorpion kick clearance. Now, we want to do a silly hot take for today's game. So want to do something ridiculous that will happen in the game. And if it does happen, we're going to declare what we will do on our next Celtic Down Under podcast. So like last season, I said Tilio would be a starter. If it didn't happen on our season review podcast, I would wear a tiara. And sure enough, I wore a bright pink tiara. Prick. So basically, we want to do a silly hot take for today's game. So do you always want to have a bit of a think on that one?
Would appreciate it, I think, if I'm going to put my neck out really badly. Not that I've got much of a neck to put out, but that's a different conversation.
Settle down, midget.
Them's fighting words. They're still not as offensive as you saying salt and vinegar chips were the best.
That's it.
Shots fired there, Jared, but luckily they cleared the target.
Yeah, they went over my head. Don't worry about it.
You know what? What he says is irrelevant because this bloke actually says Foster's is a good beer. So shut it. Anyway.
Oh, you weren't on when we did that, Liam. That's now. That's.
So okay, my silly hot take for today's game. It's not even going to relate to Celtic player. I'm going to go with Junior Hoylett is going to come on and he's going to have a shot at the wrong goal. If that happens, I will come on the next Celtic Down Under pod wearing my tiara again. There you go.
Great.
Shane, you got a silly hot take?
Yeah, they're pretty rough conditions out there. I can just see the ball pinging off to the sideline again. And I reckon Brendan's going to put a foot through it and get booked again, just like we saw in the Cup semi against Aberdeen. I don't expect that to happen, but if it does, I don't know. I'll wear one of my basketball tops on the next Celtic Down Under pod.
And Liam?
All right. Given the icy temperatures, I'm going to say that we'll get a streaker today during the game. And the sad thing is, no one will accept his excuse that it was cold out there.
I was gonna say, Liam, is it gonna be just the bag or is it gonna be the Franken beans?
It's good. Yeah, you do it properly. You know, you'll go the full way. But
Yeah.
right, okay. And if that happens, what's my forfeit?
Don't know if
We'll
Liam's
use.
frozen.
I'll. Okay, so if that comes through, then I'll have to tell you all where I actually was. You know, because apparently I was in a. Some people think I might have been in New York during the week going for a jog early in the morning, but I wasn't. You know, I've got an alibi to prove that.
Oh, wow.
But I would
It took
like
a
to buy a
moment to
pint
get.
for the guy that was. You know.
There's a few good comments on here as well. So we've got like heavy vibes saying let Casper take a free kick if we get a couple of goals up. John Hutchison saying, guys, do you think Johnny Kenny can be our third striker? Well, on that comment there, John, I'm looking at that and going. Brendan did say at the start of the season it was about having two starting quality strikers, which is Ida and Kyogo, and then having the third striker. It's hard to have three guys who want to start. So what he was saying is that was the role Rocco Vada was going to play, that he'd earmarked for him. So Johnny Kenny's been doing well at Shamrock Rovers. So maybe he could come in and slot into that spot. Who knows? They're going to at least have a look at him. So what's our third option at the moment? Playing Maeda
Maeda through the middle, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then we're weaker on the left. So it's like either, as I said, if we're going to have that, we need to get another winger on the left. If we're going to, Johnny Kenny could be the cheap option, which Peter Lorwell will love. And
they were reporting during the week that Johnny was sort of going to be given an opportunity. That Brendan was going to look at maybe trying to find an opportunity for him at Celtic, get him in the first team or something of that nature. And he has done really well at Shamrock Rovers, and they're playing in Europe as well. They're in the Conference League, and he's been scoring in the Conference League. Look, I never really subscribed to Maeda playing as a striker. I know people disagree with that, but it's not because he can't play it. It's just that I think his value on the left far outweighs him playing through the middle for us. That's where I lean on it. So I'd be more inclined to give Johnny Kenny a go leading the line than moving Maeda. But yeah, you know, he's 70 something appearances, I think, for Shamrock Rovers, over 20 goals. Yeah, good on him. I'd love to see him get an opportunity.
Now, everyone, before Liam jumps in here, I'm going to go ding, ding, ding. Let's get ready to rumble because we all know Liam has a mega man crush on Daisy Maeda at striker as well. So, ready, Mortal Kombat time. Ready, fight.
Yeah. He plays central for Japan because the Japanese manager is, for want of a better word, an obstinate prick who will not play Kyogo under any circumstance. That's the simple reason. He's decided that he wants to play Maeda through the middle, despite the fact he's obviously better on the left. Now, Maeda was a striker before he came to Celtic, and he can play there and play well. But aye, there's a headline. No, he's definitely, his best position is on the left, and you even see it when he's playing for Japan. Like most of Japan's games recently, they've been a few goals up when Maeda's came on, because they've been, you know, they're in the early stages of the Asian qualifiers for the World Cup, and Maeda, even when he's played through the middle, you see him drifting out to the left because he knows that's his natural position, and that is actually where, even in games for Japan, he sees the most action, is going down that wing. I think he actually set up a goal last time, if I remember right. So yeah, it's a simple question of different tactics applied by different managers, one of whom is Brendan Rodgers, and the other one who's an arsehole. End of story.
Jesus, tell us what you really think, mate. Like, don't hold back.
Hey, Paddy told us before the pod, just unleash. This is a no holds bar. This is a safe space, basically. You can say what you want.
I don't know why you're sugarcoating it, Liam.
I hope Moriyasu gets lost in hiking in the Alps and gets bummed to death by syphilitic bears. There you go. Right, okay. If we're going all out, then I went all out. Let's just do it.
You know,
right?
when you've got that mate that just takes it a little bit too far.
Yeah, it's not Liam. Don't worry. All I'm going to say is, don't worry. Liam has said that on our channel, so nothing out of the ordinary. He just
No.
usually he gets this sort of lets these dangerous thoughts in his head only come out on Celtic Down Under, not on Axum. So James has said no one's Scottish referees. Celtic will get a goal ruled out for offside before Schmeichel is in the goal. Then we've got another one. Heavy vibe just saying wind blow ref over in our box. Pen to Hibbs. James says my Celtic hot take is Young to actually control the ball for once. And then we go through. Liam, are you living in Japan or being held captive?
Well, I mean, I'm married, so technically it could be either. Little from column A, little from column B, you know.
Hey, Liam, I don't think you're being captive. The fact that you've got a samurai sword to your right there is pretty much means he's good.
Aye. So that's why I was late today. I was polishing it, you know.
And then you're gonna polish the sword, aren't you? After that.
Aye.
All right. So what we'll do just before we start to wrap the pot up and everything is I was looking and did a bit of research for a bit of a chuckle, right? Because it's a late one for us, so I was like, "Ooh, I have a spare couple of hours. Let's figure this out." So I was looking into the history of Aussie players plying their trade at both Celtic or in the Scottish League over the years. So what I've done is since the start of the 2013 season, which was when it became the SPFL and the Scottish Premier League, whatever, it went from the name change and all that sort of shit, right? Basically, the year after the Huns died. There you go. Let's call it what it is. So basically, from that point onwards, I've had a look. There have been 35 Australians to play in the Scottish top flight. There are currently 9 Australians in the league this season. So what I want to do is I want to see if you boys, if we can name the current 9 or anyone else that's on that list of that 35. We'll get the comments going as well. See if we can get them all sorted. It's great, James. Thanks for that. We'll hope to see you over on our channel, on our shows as well. So yeah, we've got Monday. We have two live shows on Monday, and we have a Thursday show over there. So keep an eye out. Go over there, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff there. But Shane, I'll let you pick one of the current ones. Let's aim for those 9 first.
I promise I'm not cheating by looking at my other monitor. No, it's Kai Rolls at Hearts. That's one.
Right.
Let's see if Liam's got one.
Okay, that guy at St Mirren, what's his name?
Oh no, don't do that.
Bacchus.
Nah, no longer there.
Oh bugger.
Yeah, he was one. He was there, but he left at the end of the season.
Oh, okay.
There's 2 guys that we're playing against today that we've already both mentioned on the pod. So there's a couple of little cheats for you. So Shane, do you want to go next?
Oh, I'll leave those to Liam. So I'll keep going for the ones outside of that. Wow, I'm giving you a puncher's chance, mate. I'm just how generous am I?
I'm the non-Aussie here, right? You tell me who the players' names are, and I'll tell you what their convictions were, right? Okay.
Dylan McGowan. The old man. Ryan's still playing, but he's at Livy. He's in the championship, so he doesn't count as one of the current ones. But those 2, the McGowans, their old man's in jail in Scotland. So there you go.
I'll keep going on the Hearts bandwagon. Callum Neuenhoff, he's still at Hearts.
Liam.
I'm drawing a blank here. Sorry, I didn't prepare for this. Sorry, I'll need to sit this one out.
Oh, you want me to rattle through them?
Aye, go on.
So the current ones in the league at the moment, you've got Martin Boyle. Yes, he's Scottish, but he plays for the Australian national team. So that's the third one in the Hibs lineup today. You've got Cammy Devlin at Hearts.
Mm-hmm.
You got Lewis Miller at Hibs. You've got Callum Nieuwenhof at Hearts. Kai Rouse at Hearts. Apostas Stamilopoulos, or however you say it, Polis, is at Motherwell. Ryan Strain is at St Mirren. Nectarus Trianus, so Nectar Trianus is at Hibs. And the other one, I thought he had left, but he's been loaned to Killy from Dundee United. Is Mark Berigidi still there? Didn't know he was still there. So there you have it. Is Paul Hogan still playing Dundee?
No, he's crocked.
Oh, okay. That's my life. Yeah, and then so I'll rattle through a bunch, right? And let's see, as I go through them, just say if you remember them or not. Daniel Arzani.
Yep.
Yep.
And name the club they're at as we go through them, okay?
Right, okay.
Nathaniel Atkinson.
Yes, Hearts.
Aye, Hearts. Yep.
Liam said Keanu Bacchus before at St Mirren, so we skipped that one. Aziz Bayic.
Yeah. He was at Dundee United.
Yep.
That took a while then. I couldn't quite picture him at a Scottish club.
Shane, you'll get this one. Ollie Bozanic.
He was at Hearts. He scored the winner in an Edinburgh derby. They absolutely love him there still, even though he's only there for a small time.
Philip Kankar, or Kanchar, however you say
that. This one's beyond me.
No.
Was that when they got relegated out of the league last season?
Was he really? Oh, God.
Yep. Someone I've never heard of, Jesse Curran. So I'll just say, was it Dundee?
Yeah, no, it doesn't ring a bell.
Ryan Edwards.
I think he played for a couple of clubs.
3.
I think he was at Hearts, Dundee United, Livy.
Yeah. Let's give Liam a guess.
Oh, fuck, I have no idea, mate.
Celtic Supporters Podcast has got it. Yep, he was at Partick Thistle and he was also at St Mirren.
Can we go back to talking about Paul Hogan? Because I actually know a bit about it.
I'll rattle through a bunch quickly then, okay?
Yeah,
so
I feel like I'm flexing and it feels unfair.
Riccio was at Hearts. Curtis Good was at Dundee United. Jackson Irvin was Celtic, Killy, Ross County. Jimmy Jago, do my filing, bitch. He was my old filing kid when he was on work experience back in the day. Yeah, he was like, I made him do my filing. It was great. Yeah, he played at Hibs. Garen Quall was at Hearts. Aaron Lennox, Aberdeen. Jamie McLaren. Douche. Hibs. Ashley Maynard Brewer at Ross County. Scott McDonald, Motherwell, Dundee United. Ryan and Dylan McGowan. Matthew Miller was at St Mirren. Mark Milligan was at Hibs. Aaron Moy at Celtic. Tom Rogic at Celtic. Andy Rose at Motherwell. Harry Suter. He's another one like, naturalised Aussie. And then Adam Taggart was at Dundee United. So that's pretty much all of them there. So what I want to do off the back of that is we'll go through it, both of you for your respective things. Liam, are there any players in Japan Celtic should be looking to scout or sign? Before you do that, I'll jump on this comment. John Viduka is an Aussie, yes, but I only went back to 2013 after the season the Huns died, so that's why I didn't have him on the list. There's heaps more. We could go back. Patrick Kisnorbo, Danny Invincible, all the guys who got EBTs. There's a whole bunch of them we could have gone back to further. So that's why we didn't go there. But Liam?
Yeah, I mean, there's I'm trying to think of one particular player to pick out. I was at the cup final a couple of weeks ago, and there was just go, Shane. You step in here for a second. I need to check this boy's name, the midfielder at Kobe. I want to make sure I
So
get the
the
name
other
right.
thing for Shane would be players in Australia.
Yeah, well, I'm going to lean on Melbourne Victory here, who is the local club that in Australia that both you and I support, Jared. And I'll get out to most Melbourne Victory match days. And there's a couple of names that have really stood out for me. The first one that I'm going to lean on is in the midfield, and his name's Ryan Teague. He's basically plays in the middle of the park for Victory. What he is, he's an on-field. He has great control of the game. He's an on-field leader. He can push up, he can defend, he can screen. He's a great all-round midfielder. He's a midfield general is probably the best way I can describe him.
The best summary for the type of game he is he's just as comfortable naturally playing in the 6 as he is as an 8 or a 10. But the way, and he's like a good 6 foot, 6'1", so he's got good size about him. But the way he plays is very Matt O'Reilly-esque.
And one of the things that really impressed me seeing him a few weeks ago live when we played Melbourne City, a game that we were actually pressing them and their back four and their midfield very high up the park. And what I noticed from Ryan is not only was he putting in the hard yards of actually pressing up and had the ability to do that, but he was directing other players. I want you to go there. Okay, you move just slightly across. He was the one actually directing other players in the team. So he's a leader. He's a leader on the park. He's comfortable with the ball. He's got a big future ahead of him. He won't be at Victory for very much longer. I'd definitely love to see him at Celtic. I think he could absolutely work his way into being an important part of the team going forward.
It's the former Australian Olympic team captain. So that's why he's natural leader. Anyone else, Shane?
Well, there's two other names that jump off the list for me. The other one that I really lean on is Casey Boss. You and I were both very bullish about his older brother, Geordie Boss, who's playing or plying his trade in Belgium, a very tall left back, Geordie. And he's doing very well in Belgium. And you and I were both pushing him to make it to paradise and play for Celtic. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. But Casey's his younger brother, and he plays in a very similar role to him. He's tall, he's quick, he's athletic. I'm not too sure how he goes with inverting. I see most of the work that he does sort of out wide, to be honest. But he's quick. He loves to get up and down the park. He plays more of a wing back, instead of a fullback that's limited. And I think that, and he's only 20 or 19, 20. He's really, really young. He's still got a lot of growth in his game. To give you an example of the role that he's playing, he has basically been the starting left back for Victory all season. And he's basically keeping out, effectively, I'll call him club legend Adama Traore, a much more recognised left back that was our starting left back all last season. And he's keeping him out because his performances have been fantastic. I love his pace. I love his energy. He's good with the ball. He can whip a good cross in, and his link-up's really good. And he's another one that's going to has got a massive future ahead of him. And I'd love to see him make his way to Celtic if we could, considering we missed out on Geordie.
I was talking about this on Blue Sky with, can't remember who it was, a couple of days ago, and I was saying I'd still like us to make a bid for Geordie. The way I see Geordie is he's like a 6 foot Australian version of Alistair Johnson. And that's what we need, the way he plays and the physicality that he can kick people and kick them and give them lumps and everything, but then get on with it. But then Casey, he's like Casey's like 5'10", but he's still growing and everything like that. So I'd be happy with either of them. But I want to answer this question from James as well. Can I ask you, lads, is Marco Tilio any good? We haven't seen him at all at Celtic yet. Tilio, I was massive on him signing. I still think he's a quality player, but at the same time, his attitude sucks. And last year, got signed by Celtic, he was injured, then got homesick because there was some family stuff going on, came back. But then going on loan to Melbourne City again this season and making a comment, it's good to be at a club where I'm actually going to play. And that I'm appreciated and just mouthing off. I don't want that at Celtic. Jerry is, how's the Australian national team doing these days? Used to have some great players. We've got a similar problem to the Scottish team. We're not really developing any top quality strikers. All of our teams over here in the A-League tend to sign imports, so overseas players to play striker, rather than bringing through the guys like when we used to have like your Harry Kewells or your Vidukas or whatever coming through, even your Archie Thompsons and those sort of guys. You had quality strikers. We don't have that over here anymore. The same issue is a lot of the players who are playing left back and right back now, those guys started off as right wingers and left wingers, and then as they got a bit older, they've been pushed back into the defensive positions. So we're not really developing them as well. So it's similar to what issues are going on over in Scotland. Everyone wants to be a midfielder these days.
Yeah, now overall form, unfortunately, we've had a pretty severe dip since the World Cup, where we got to the round of 16, and our performance has really tapered off, which led to a change in manager recently. And we don't have those sort of star quality players. Like you look back at the golden generation and the names that Jared rattled off, like Kuhl and Cahill and Bresciano and Aloisi and so forth. We aren't at that level yet. We've got some very good players, and we've got some players coming through like Geordie Boss and so forth, but we're not at that level. But we've got, I think, a manager at the moment who's probably going to get the best out of this squad in terms of actually keeping them tight and getting results where we need to, which is the position we're in. So, look, we'll see how we go. There's some exciting talent in the A-League. We've only touched on a couple of players. There's definitely a lot of good footballers coming through the ranks that I think will eventually make their way up. But we're probably a couple of years away from having maybe a couple of players that echo that sort of golden generation from, say, 20 years ago.
So, Liam, over to you for any players in Japan quickly. Then we'll quickly wrap up.
Okay, so I get two players for you. First one is a guy I saw playing in the cup final a couple of weeks ago. Defensive midfielder at Vissel Kobe, by the name of Kakeru Yamauchi, 22 years old. Made a substitute appearance that day. He's just breaking into the team, but looks good potentially. But the one that I think is more realistic, possible long-term replacement for Kyogo, Mao Hosoya. He is playing for Kashiwa Reysol at the moment, and he is Japan under-23 international. Very good player, fast, slightly bigger than Kyogo, but still not a particularly big guy. But he's got a bit more dig about him than Kyogo, but he has potentially as much skill. I think he's one to watch. I don't know if he'll end up at Celtic, but he will end up in Europe sooner rather than later. Mao Hosoya, you heard it here first.
Cool. So just want to thank everyone for tuning in. Appreciate it. Thanks to the guys at the Celtic Supporters Podcast for letting us come on for the Charity Weekender, talk some Celtic, talk absolute pish about, the old Aussie football and in general and tie into Scottish football. And yeah, if you can support the Kano Foundation, please do so. So can't wait for this game. Looking forward to it. So thanks to everyone. And thanks, Paddy, for having us on.
Oh, listen, guys, thank you very, very much for your time. I didn't actually realise it was, AM time where you guys are. So, no, I really you're staying up late and coming on and helping the CSP with the weekend fundraiser. So anybody in the comments, anybody else watching, if you haven't already, jump on to the Celtics Down Under YouTube page, give it a like, subscribe, all that jazz. But no, listen, that was a great watch, guys. Liam, thank you very much for the late entrance, buddy. I'm pretty
Cheers.
I need a jog back quicker than your Wi-Fi.
Brilliant.
No, seriously, guys, really appreciate it. Great info, great insight into the Japan League and the Australian League as well. Shane, just very, very quickly, was it Melbourne Victory you says you were a fan of?
Yep.
I noticed you kind of bypassed the chat, but Kevin Muscat, is that because he's linked with Rangers?
Yes, kind of avoided that just for purposes. We don't want to set the comments ablaze, do we? So but he won't.
Let's do it just quickly then. So if Rangers sack one bald fraud, are they going to get another one?
No, Muscat won't go there.
They will try for an Australian. They won't get Muscat, but they'll probably end up with Graham Arnold, the old Australian manager.
I heard that Rangers have been linked with P Diddy, but apparently he said he's got his reputation to think about. So
no, Kevin won't end up at Rangers. I don't think that'll happen.
Good. Well, hopefully that means that they keep Clement for a wee bit longer because he's wonderful. He's the greatest thing to happen to them.
He ended up in Kashinya territory, just waiting on a caravan or some sort of thing to be brought up. This guy's losing it. It's great.
Yeah, no, he's already been out shouting about Harry Potter and toenails and whatever else. Oh, madness. No, as I say, guys, thank you very, very much for your time. Really
Pleasure.
Appreciate it. Everybody in the comments, thanks for tuning in, watching. Again, got all the links there for the Just Giving page. You've still got the QR code just up at Jared's head now. So if you can, jump on. I know it's close to Christmas, but every little helps. Any shekels you can, or however big, however small. Myself and Dale will be back at 5 p.m. with the post-match show, and then the Unrestricted View will be on at 7 p.m. Then tomorrow we have the Celtic Exchange on at 5 p.m. The Homeboys are on at 6:30 p.m. And then we wrap up the weekend with the CSP finale show at 8 p.m. And we will be doing a Kano Foundation special. So, yeah, that'll be with Kevin Moon, who is one of our CSP contributors, and it'll be Joe Mackin, who's one of the original founding folk of the Kano Foundation. So that should be an absolute belter. But once again, thank you very much, guys. Jared, Liam, Shane, really appreciate you coming on. Just before I end the stream, Liam, you missed it at the start. We had a wee conversation. So StreamYard's playing up a wee bit. So if you can refrain from closing down your windows until we actually end the stream, because it continues to go on if you leave kind of mid. It's a pain in the ass, but hey, listen, guys, thanks very much. I'll let you get to your bed, or Liam, if you're up for work. I don't know what time it is in Japan, mate, but
it's an hour behind the Aussie boys, so I'm not actually into Sunday for another 7 minutes yet. So
2 hours behind.
You're 2 hours behind, late. 2 a.m.
Right. Listen, thanks very much, guys. If you're managing to watch the game, I hope you enjoy it. But once again, an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Rock.